Hey guys, my name is Reggie, and welcome to my review of DC's Titans. Now, initial reactions, I thought the show was worth watching. Unfortunately, I did not think that the show was great, but it wasn't bad either. Uh, Now, let's talk about. Before jumping into the show, I want to talk about the trailer because when I saw the trailer, I wasn't very excited about it. I actually felt like DC is trying to make a dark and edgy show, and these characters, Titans, or because I know them from back in the day as Teen Titans, all these characters didn't feel like the right fit for something that's supposed to be dark. Edgy, yes, maybe. Now, all these characters' personalities seem to be retrofitted in what the people behind the scenes wanted the show to be. Based on everything that I'd seen before, Robin or Nightwing at least had some semblance of hope to him. He wasn't always dark and gloomy. He had a dual personality that's supposed to contrast each other, like Bruce Wayne and Batman, but here he felt only dark and troubled, 24/7. Starfire, based on my hazy memory, had some amount of innocence to her. But now that feels like it's completely gone. Like, if I had to define a character trait for her, it would be badass. And that's only because the show constantly. They try to remind you that she's a badass character. It never feels organic. Raven reminded me of a teenager sort of going through a goth phase, something like that kid from Omen. Except here she's not the bad guy, but she kind of goes through a lot. So maybe if they wanted to make her relatable, I can understand. I think she's all right. Beast is the only character that kind of feels like Beast. They retained some amount of humor, some amount of lightheartedness from this character. So this show mostly feels like a reinterpretation. It's dark and edgy. I think the show knows that too because in one episode, some characters talk about Fight Club, which is like one of the edgiest movies ever. Now let's get to some of the good things about the show. Titans is shot really well. It's top notch. There are many amazing shot compositions that are scattered throughout the show. The production design is also good. Especially the way the lighting is used, the in-frame lighting is used. It's really good. I like the way the characters looked. Robin's costume was really good. It really conveyed a sense of it being like a battle armor, something that's been used in a lot of fights. Others don't wear a costume. Beast's superhero form or beast form looked very CGI. Unfortunately, they have a lot of raw action scenes that were reminiscent of the warehouse fight of Batman vs Superman. I really like that. Unfortunately, I didn't like the first fight scene that involved Robin because it looked very fake in parts. I know that they are all fake, but they're not supposed to look fake. I could literally see fists not even touching the face while the body is being propelled backwards. The CGI for the most part is good, but some of it is bad, and because the show is shot so well, they stick out like a sore thumb. Here I'm talking specifically about CGI that's used to mimic human movements. They look very animated. It feels very unnatural. Like when Dick Grayson is trying to jump out, there is a scene where Dick Grayson is trying to jump out of the Wayne Manor. It looks very, very animated. Or when Wonder Girl jumps on top of a truck. I like that they did not use Batman directly. He's like a looming figure in the background. A very random complaint here. I didn't like Batman's voice. Didn't feel like Bruce Wayne at all. Now, the story here is pretty simple and easy to follow. I like that, but unfortunately, it takes several detours, which is supposed to give a sense of character development, a sense of arc. Many people will like that, but I felt like that took way too long to show us stuff that'll, for most part, be inconsequential to the overall plot. Yes, I really wanted the story to move forward, but it felt like they're being bogged down by side quests and backstory. The Hawk and Dove backstory I kinda liked since the show is about characters who are dealing with personal loss. It felt thematically apt. A little bit of it is good, but too much just starts feeling like filler. I don't know if it's because this is only the first scene, but the writing seems very centered around Dick Grayson. They never really feel like a team, except like in one scene, but they literally tell you that, you know what, we're a team. It 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 feels very artificial, kind of artificial. It doesn't feel very well earned. There are a lot of moments when Dick Grayson kind of feels like a bitch. He's putting all his problems on Batman. There is one episode called The Asylum. It gives us a sense of the fact that Dick Grayson needs to own up to his himself to not blame Batman. Uh, that there's some sort of inner change that happens within him. And that is the arc that I wish they would have completed, but then the element doesn't reappear, or it feels like it's been abandoned. Because if you see in the show, and the last episode is kind of, it's very, it's different. It's very different. If you've seen the show, then I guess you know what I'm talking about. It feels weird saying this, considering the fact that the people who are working on Titans have read and worked on Batman more than anyone else. But it feels like the show kind of gets Batman wrong to some extent. They constantly talk about Batman being a person who delivers justice, but honestly, I mean, he's just trying to save people, right? It's not like he has a code which he follows because for the sake of following it. The reason he takes Dick Grayson in is because Dick Grayson is being consumed by revenge, and that is an element that he sees in every single bad guy. He doesn't want Dick Grayson to turn into them, and that is why he takes him in. He saves him, just like he's trying to kind of save everyone else too. That's what made him special. Otherwise, he's just another guy in a mask. So I kind of feel like they did not completely incorporate that element properly, even though Batman is used sparingly, but he's still a pretty big deal in the show. Now I like the show. Okay, it feels like hearing myself right now. It feels like I didn't like the show, but I liked it. I am waiting for the second season because I've seen the first season. I might as well see the second season. I want to know what happens next, and I think the general audience will enjoy the show. Comic fans will definitely like the show. I don't know if every comic book, every person who's seen Teen Titans, or people who know these characters from a more lighthearted perspective. I don't know. I want to know what they think about the show as well. So if you got something else out of the show that maybe I didn't, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to read them. I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, do like it. If you want to see more, you can subscribe. And thank you for tuning in.